lot to do this morning. There's a lot to talk about. Oh, good. 81 degrees, 9:14, Tuesday, July 16th. Tuesdays have been the nicest days of the week lately. The last couple of months since those blizzards in April. It's 3 months, Tim. Today is probably not the best day of the week. What's going to be the best day of the week? Probably Friday or Saturday. Now, it is a skosh less humid this morning in Boston. T-Rex chasing birds that are flying, no less. Temperature map, 9 a.m. Boston in the low 80s. And the dew point is in the 60s. That's better than the 70s. But check out Chatham and P-Town and Nantucket, all having a dew point of 75 this morning. That's almost intolerable humidity working outdoors. For those of us not acclimated to Florida, Sterling says it's hotter in New England than it is in Florida this week. That's probably a slight exaggeration. The big news, though, is the storm fronts that are surrounding the heat. Incidentally, yesterday, the hottest spot that I saw, record high temperature 97 in Manchester, New Hampshire. The satellite imagery and radar imagery this morning looked fairly similar to yesterday. Here's the satellite image. There's definitely a thicker cloud in Maine than there was, but that system that we saw 24 hours ago over Ontario, that's the one in Maine now, has been replaced by another one that looks almost exactly the same, but it's stronger than the one we had 24 hours ago. It's called a mesoscale convective system. And here's the radar. This thing formed in western Iowa yesterday afternoon, just like the one from yesterday had formed from the previous afternoon. They're like bowling balls of thunderstorms. And the one that came through Iowa yesterday was called a derecho. It's Spanish adjective for straight. Straight line winds, for the most part, but with embedded tornadoes. Rachel Kopelman in Cedar Rapids with this time lapse. Wow. And so many reports of damage. Winds gusting past 100 miles an hour with this mostly straight line wind, although tornadoes were reported in Chicago. And then this morning in Ontario, Mark Robinson, also a meteorologist, storm chaser like Rebecca, that looked like a blizzard, he said, on the roads heading into Toronto this morning. So that system held together overnight. Mesoscale convective system. All right, I'm not going to lose Steve today. This is so funny. Rex loves to sit there, you know that. And then there's Steve's line right there. So if I just stick Steve's line over the post. So we had a 3-hour thunderstorm yesterday here. And it looked so threatening. I mean, there were some spots of damage. Joe Kidston and Finn in Hingham, Massachusetts, right over there. After the storm, some damage. Finn's walking around. You could still hear thunder. There was a tremendous amount of lightning. And he had some wind damage, brief monsoon-like rain, and despite a temperature in the mid-90s yesterday, ice fell from the sky. Hail on Joe's deck. That freezing level up around 20,000 feet, but the cloud top up around 40,000 feet. And it's just a huge dynamo. And so how much rain did we get? It looks so threatening, 0.06 in our yard. How much did you get, Joe? Oh, I forgot to look at the CocoRa's numbers. So I don't know what they are, but the HRRR did a pretty good job yesterday saying that somebody was going to get inches of rain near the Massachusetts Turnpike. And I think also the Gloucester area. So here's the CocoRa's, even though I have not seen it. What's the biggest number on there? I'm thinking probably a 2 in there somewhere. Anyhow, today we have to monitor not this freaky thing that happened yesterday. That was the Severe Storm Prediction Center called it a low amplitude shortwave. Man, it was intense for low amplitude. That's what happens when the stakes are so high. Lifted index of -7, thickness of 580. anything can trigger a storm. So today we're going to monitor the progress of that system coming across from Ontario through New York and into New England, where today we are having another 90 to 95 degree day, or even 95 to 100 in a few spots. And with the wind from the west here in the Boston area, Boston has a chance of going from to 95 to 100 if the wind stays from this direction. And even the south coast of New England, if it comes in from the west, you're hot. Now, a lot of times where you're cooler, Plymouth County, Cape Cod and the islands, coastal Rhode Island, your hottest day comes after the front goes by, which would be about Thursday or Friday. So we'll watch for that. So when I say everyone's going to hit 90, I'm meaning mostly away from the south coast of New England, where it's just incredibly sticky. Anyhow, here's the HRRR for today with that system coming across the Hudson River. Probably not till about 5 or 6 o'clock. So coming into New England about 7 or 8 o'clock, but it's trying to hold together. So it may still have some severe characteristics. It's unusual for them to last 48 hours. So these systems that form in South Dakota and Iowa, making it all the way to Maine. And so Maine gets another round. There was actually some flooding in Maine this morning. If you look at the QPF on that, not very good news for anybody that lives in Rhode Island or southeastern Massachusetts, at least through tomorrow evening. Most of the heavier rain, bands of rain in the order of a ½ inch to an 1.5 inches or 2 inches, and scattered severe thunderstorm damage is north of the Massachusetts Turnpike for the most part. But then it may still come south on Thursday. The front goes to southern New England and moves offshore. The Boston 14-day shows the temperature once again tomorrow in the 90s. So for many of us, that's day 4 or 5 of a heat wave. And then we're cooling off with the showers and thunderstorms tomorrow night, Thursday. And then Friday and Saturday, it looks pretty nice. Dew points are coming down. Temperatures are in the 80s, then even cooling into the 70s by next Monday. So how's that happening? Well, I forgot to look at the Euro. I'm going to put the Euro 10-day in here. Yesterday I was making a big deal about what happens at the end, either a warm front on Sunday or a cold front on Sunday. And I also, when I show those 14-day outlooks, it's usually a lag effect. Usually that's from the guidance from more than 24 hours ago. So it changes. Everything changes in the forecast. It's all waves. See how the flag goes up and down and left and right? It's how weather works and weather forecasts work. They go up and down too. Here it is, the Euro with the front coming through here Thursday into Friday, and cooler air advection, but still warm Friday into Saturday. And then the high, it's going to get split, and there's a cold front to the north and a warm front to the south, and we're somewhere in between, but I didn't look at it. Are we still looking at bombogenesis in southeastern Canada? I can't tell. You know, I get up and I start looking at stuff and I get so distracted. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the world. Funny how many people complained about the national anthem at the All-Star game compared to all the other troubles, but I guess that's a little more innocent. So I'm just trying to keep cool. I get to work in the garden right in here. I reclaimed some soil and I transplanted a tomato. It doesn't look too good, does it? And the many time lapses I made yesterday, I was out here so long, mostly just making videos. And then the bees live in there, but they let me work in this section for a time. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. I moved that because the original plan was to, and it's so crowded down in here, to take some of this stuff and move it up here eventually if I had more room. These are the hot peppers. And when you do some deep dive weeding, you find stuff that you didn't know you had. I think it looks like one cucumber went by. There's some baby cucumbers in there. So we do have a cucumber, Steve. What do you think? Cool cucumber. And what are weeds? Weeds are flowers growing where you don't want them to. I'm not sure what this is, some kind of onion or scallion. I guess I could probably cut that up a little bit. And it looks like I killed a butternut squash because, I don't know. You can't save everything. Look how deep it is in here. And I think I saw, believe it or not, you want to push the season a little bit. Look at this. I didn't even know it was there. Yeah, we've got a pumpkin. So TK's got a pumpkin ready to go out, and I've got one yellow chrysanthemum bloom on the front yard. Yeah, we're pushing the season all right. How's that squash in there? There's a squash in there. I gotta grab that before something else eats it. A butternut squash. So I do have a little action. It's great fun having a garden, but when you're so passionate about making videos and not killing bees and stuff. Makes it more challenging. And when your cat escapes to the beach like yesterday, all right, you guys, I think we should spend some time indoors. We've got a lot of editing to do. I know I skipped about half of the stuff I wanted to talk about today. Yeah, sorry, Steve. Steve wants to go over there. Who can blame you? What kind of flowers are those? I can't remember. What a tease. That stuff. Cilantro. That's cilantro, Tim. All right. I'm already going for 86 down here. Going indoors. Thanks for putting up with my audio, which I'm going to be working on. I got new equipment, but I just haven't taken the time to figure it out. And stay safe, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow. Do you actually want to go out and check out what 95 degrees feels like? Come on. No, me either. But I want to make a time-lapse video. Thing is, it's so hot, my camera might cook. My iPhone, so I put this beach umbrella on my porch table here, deck table, and I'm gonna set it up right down here. Line of showers and thunderstorms has developed now from just east of Gloucester. Pete reports some thunderstorm on the beaches in Gloucester a short time ago, around 2:30, 3 o'clock. Can I do this without getting the umbrella in there? Still moving it, still trying to, no, can't, gotta go this way. Gotta go this way. All right, barely in the shade. The umbrella might blow over, but we're gonna get a time lapse out of this. Starting off with a song sparrow singing for us. Let's look at a little higher in the sky. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect at 3 o'clock. Belchertown, Ware, Massachusetts. Broken line of storms from east of Boston, right along the Massachusetts Turnpike, and they're getting bigger. The clouds are 6 miles tall, over 40,000 feet. And of course, I go out to set up a time lapse and mid escapes right underneath my feet, watching the plane go by. So 3 o'clock, line of severe thunderstorms has developed from east of Gloucester. Well, they're not severe near Boston. East of Gloucester through a severe storm now in Belchertown and Ware, Massachusetts, sliding to the east-northeast and intensifying. The cloud tops are up over 45,000 feet. So that's gonna be some lightning and hail and maybe hail. Yeah, on a 95-degree day, if raindrops go up to 20,000 feet above the freezing level, they turn into ice, and if it's heavy enough, it falls. If it's fat enough, it doesn't melt. All right, time lapse. All I can say is wow. It's 4:30. This thing's been going now for an hour and 7 minutes. And I say wow to what's occurring right now. There have been heavy thunderstorms, marine warnings, hail, wind, and we're right on the edge of it here. That's the updraft right there. And to our south, you can hear the thunder now. To our south, there's a clear sky over most of Rhode Island, Cape Cod, and these storms exist. Here's the satellite imagery. Just eastern New York, western Connecticut, and then right along Interstate I-90. And it's one of those days where, as if I was on TV, I would say, well, there's no obvious front or low pressure system. I usually like to say that it's upper level energy. And the Severe Storms Prediction Center in a mesoscale discussion said that it was a low amplitude trough. Pete in Gloucester says there was a word of maybe 1.9 inches of rain in Gloucester in 15 minutes. "12 minutes, pouring over there, Hull." Oops, see the lightning? Our little cells are potent, but they're tiny compared to what's going on in western New York. There, yellow is severe
thunderstorm warning. Red is tornado warning, and green is flash flood warning. That thing's been holding together since forming west of Chicago yesterday, more than 24 hours ago.
What? You want to go out, T-Rex? You want to go out and see that low amplitude shortwave trough? It just generated hundreds, maybe thousands of lightning bolts, but hardly any rain here on the edge. Dropped the temperature from the 90s to the 80s. Been hearing thunder now for 2 hours. Very small but intense downpours continue. Just crazy updraft. We said the lifted index was -7. That means a particle that lifts from the ground all the way up to 500 millibars is going to be 7 degrees Celsius warmer than its environment. That causes it to continue rising. And that happened today with a low amplitude shortwave trough. And we got it. There was hardly any trigger. Imagine when we get the real front in here over the next 72 hours. No. T-Rex, Honey Bunch, Maypo, Cheerio, and back-building thunderstorm. Dee Dee says, every time I turn around, I miss a lightning bolt, so now I'm standing behind you. And this is sort of back-building thunder. It's moved off Hull, but the lightning continues to grow toward the west. And the little one right there.
Yeah, but
it's coming like once every 15 seconds. More important to get flowers and honey bunch. Maybe we can get flowers and honey bunch and lightning at the same time. Sound of thunder. Oh, I guess that's good. Why is it barking? It's like an hour later. When we ran out an hour ago, thunderstorm was departing to the east. Guess what? It was a back builder. And now back building storm. And Steve in Cohasset says it's wild here now with heavy rain and wind. I just lifted the radar scope little loop, and it does look like there's kind of a hook in it. Almost like a mezzo-low, tiny little tornado up in the sky over there. Right on the Cohasset Hull line. And we get an embryonic rainbow. You see it above the flagpole? So that's a downpour right there. Steve, thanks for the content. Well, you can go outside and make a video. That'd be even more fun. Steve. We all love the name Steve, don't we? Steve's probably gonna come out. So, didn't take much to trigger the storms today, did it? Wild sky day. Past 7:30, that storm finally moved away. Just fascinating to watch it on the radar and everyone on Twitter interacting, and spectacle indeed. How much rain did you guys get in Cohasset and Hingham? I think we picked up less than a tenth. How about one more time lapse just because that's what I love to do, and it looks like the cloud is gonna give us a glimpse of the sun. Cloud's gonna move to the east. We just had a sundog a short time ago. Look at that. Do you guys see 2 ducks up top pointed toward the south? All right, final time lapse of the day. Very busy sky watching day. More and more and more. It comes out a lot better on the phone than it does with the webcam.